this public hearing is now called to order at 6 p.m. on March 27th, 2024. This hearing is being held as required by the provisions of Chapter 131, Section 40 of the General Laws of the Commonwealth, an act relative to the protection of the wetlands is most recently amended. Notice of the time and place of this hearing was originally published in the Fairhaven Neighborhood News on December 7th, 2024. It was 2023. It was also posted in the town clerk's office. Persons wishing to be heard will be called in the following order. First order of business, meeting mail. Boy Scout Troop 11 and Acushnet Firefighters Association invite for the Eagle Scout Corps of Honor for Noah Dion, April 6, 2 p.m. Acushnet Council on Aging, review of matters presented, votes may be taken. We got an invitation here for Boy Scout Troop 11 and the Acushnet Firefighters Association cordially invite you to attend the Eagle Scout Corps of Honor for Noah Dion, Saturday, April 6, 2 p.m. at the Council on Aging, dinner reception following the ceremony. I will try to attend that, absolutely. Okay, next piece of mail. Eversource Energy intends to selectively apply herbicides in 2024 along power line rights-of-way that pass through Acushnet. Treatments will take place between June 1st and October 18th. And that's that one. All right, and Eversource Line Maintenance Project. 14 new steel monopole structures and in-kind replacement of 34 wood monopole structures with steel monopole structures project will take place between Wing Lane Substation and Main Street. Project representatives James Clancy, Eversource, and Sarah French, Santec. Review of matters presented, votes may be taken.
Hi
guys.
You guys want us to?
Yeah, you can go up to the podium.
Hey, good evening, guys. I'm Sarah French. I'm with Stantec here representing Eversource. Do you guys have any questions? Do you want me to just kind of do a quick overview of the project? Do you have questions to start out?
No, just do a quick overview. I have a couple questions, but nothing.
Yeah, so the line is the 241, 243 between Wing Lane Substation and Main Street. It's an old wood 115 kV line that was built probably in the 1950s. So it's needing updates and maintenance to comply with industry standards. So as you mentioned, it is 14 new monopole structures, and then we have the in-kind replacement of 34 structures. Those are all going to be replaced with steel monopoles. So existing is wood to be replaced with steel. So basically it's routine maintenance to provide safe and reliable electricity to customers, and to support, also to support Commonwealth renewable energy initiatives. So it's to allow for interconnection to new solar initiatives. So of those 14 new structures, we do have 6 structures that are within wetland resource areas. So those are going to result in up to 7 square feet of permanent impact to the wetlands, 42 square feet in total. So basically the way that we are interpreting the maintenance exemption is that activities conducted to maintain, repair, or replace, but not substantially change or enlarge an existing and lawfully located facility. So we're basically looking at the entire right-of-way and the infrastructure that's already there as the existing facility. So as I mentioned, 6 of those structures will be in wetland. I do want to make a note that it's not the highest grade wetland. It's full of invasive phragmites throughout most of the line. All best management practices will be used throughout the entire construction process. Eversource has an amazing environmental team that they work with throughout the whole length of the project to make sure that we're properly protecting wetlands. There'll be a wetland scientist on site during the structure installs to make sure that soil segregation is happening appropriately, that stuff is being reseeded appropriately. That's a general overview. Are there any questions from you guys?
I guess, I mean, you really covered it there. I guess my biggest question was, what were your best management practices in that?
Yeah, so Eversource has a whole BMP manual that we'll go by. So depending on what the site is looking like in the certain areas, we'll be using, erosion control, silt fences. We don't anticipate dewatering, but if we do encounter needing to dewater, we'll make sure that we're using a filtration bag and that that's placed in an appropriate upland, well-vegetated upland area so that we're not getting any sediment into the existing wetland areas. We'll also be using construction matting for all of the equipment that's out there. Is there anything else you want to know, James, as far as BMPs?
No, this is pretty standard work for us, just to pull work.
And that's the temporary
Like
impacts would be the matting
Yep.
in the area.
And they'd all be removed, and then if there's areas that, sometimes contractors go a little haywire and they might flop off, and, we have to like regrade and reseed and stuff like that after the fact.
Yeah, but everything will pretty much be, returned to existing conditions appropriately, seeded with the wetland seed mix. And as I mentioned, the new structures, as I mentioned, it's up to 7 square feet of impact. It could be smaller. So
Right.
depending on the substrate, they might just do a direct embed, so that would be an even smaller impact. If they do find that it's kind of, more boggy soil, they might have to put a culvert and then backfill with stone just to make sure that that steel structure is stable. But that culvert and the stone, that's the 7 square feet. So it could be smaller of
Right.
impact. We just wanted to calculate the total, the up to amount.
Anybody else have questions?
And I can get you guys a copy of that BMP manual. We have a PDF version, so I can send
Yeah,
it to you.
that'd be good.
It's a big document, but it's got a lot of good information in it.
Yeah.
Also to mention too, there will be an environmental monitor out there weekly that is required under the EPA's construction general permit. So they'll be monitoring the site weekly, making sure all the BMPs are working appropriately, nothing's damaged, making sure that there's no runoff happening, anything like that after a rainstorm.
What's the impact of an existing pole there now compared to the 7 square feet?
So it'll be the in-kind replacement, so no change
Okay.
on those. It's just, so out of the 14 new structures that they're needing to put in place, basically to adjust for span lengths to comply with the new industry standards from the 1950s. Though out of those 14, 6 of those structures are going to be in wetland resource areas. So that's the only permanent impact that we have is a total of 42 square feet, but it's individually up to 7 square feet
Right.
separate. So it's not a full 42 square foot impact.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Any public comment on this? No? Well, I just, I read through this and it said the burden of establishing that the work is not subject to the regulation is on you guys, and I mean, this is pretty thorough, and it's in the law that you don't have to file with us, and I just hope that those BMPs are.
Yeah, like I mentioned, Eversource has a pretty incredible environmental team. We work very, very closely with all the contractors, and then they have us as well, consultants that are out there. I'm a wetland scientist, so we'll be out there making sure we're training the crews, making sure that all the BMPs are in place where they're supposed to. Like I mentioned, weekly construction oversight, likely full oversight for those structures that are in wetlands to make sure that soils are, getting segregated appropriately and whatnot.
anyone on our sites have work stop authority, so if for some reason Sarah's out there, if I'm out there.
If something's
something
happening,
doesn't
we
look
can
right,
stop, we can shut it
we
down.
can stop it
Yeah.
immediately, and the
Yeah.
contractors have to figure it out, so we
Excellent.
should be pretty good about that.
I mean, it's in the law. It's,
Yeah, right.
you know, because it is, it says it's routine maintenance, so I just wanted that, you know, explained to the commission and.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, totally understand.
But I really appreciate you guys coming in and explaining that to us, and if you could get that manual or whatever,
Oh, yeah.
I'm just, you know,
Something else.
interesting to have and.
Yeah.
through it. Well,
You have an estimate on the length of the project? Any idea?
Like the time, like the amount of time for
Yeah,
construction?
curious.
Probably the summer.
Yeah.
Like as far as, you know, doing all the work and then
Yeah.
clean up,
So we-
restoration, pulling everything
Right.
out.
We do have a few other agencies to go to for approval, so thankfully for you guys, the burden's not all on you to deal with permitting. So we also have to go to DEP still, the Army Corps, EPA, we have to file our construction general permit with them.
Yeah.
And then we still have to do consultation with Natural Heritage Endangered Species
Oh, okay.
Program.
but,
There's going to be a lot of review. We're hoping to get that finalized in the next few months so we can start construction in the summer. So then, you know, we can kind of get all that dirt work done before the wet season, and then they're in the fall.
right,
And, I mean, this is a huge reliability project too for the town. Wing Lane's like the main sub that, you know, fulfills your guys' energy needs. So having this as a more robust circuit is just gonna, you know, we want it as much as you guys probably want it. So,
yeah. Well,
Yeah, so likely the length of the summer, I would imagine.
yeah, the actual
The
construction
is
time,
definitely-
yeah, the only caveat to that is the overhead work. I don't know how long it's gonna take us to pull.
Yeah,
the
sometimes
cable.
mats are in place for, you know, a couple months.
Yeah, the mats will be in for less than a year, just because that's what the regulation requires. But I don't assume that we're gonna be in there for more than the summer or fall.
Yeah, should be getting everything restored and pulled out by the fall.
Well, just curious for follow-up reasons, you know, follow-up at some point, maybe to review what's been done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you're welcome
That's,
to
you
reach
know,
out to
that would
myself
be-
or James. Dan Nye is the one, he's the project manager. He's the one that submitted that notice, so you're welcome to reach out to any one of us. We can come down,
Right.
meet you for a site walk,
Yeah.
whatever you guys
Yeah.
want.
Anything to get me out of the office will be fine. I'll leave a couple of my cards, my cell's on there too, so if for some reason you guys want to go look,
Yeah.
give me a call and get you guys down there. Or if during construction you see something that you don't like, if you call me first, it'll get done in like 10 minutes. So,
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming in.
yeah,
and
thank you guys, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's a few other cards just in case you guys
Yeah, thank you very
I'll
much.
take it, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have you right, I lost that paper, but. All right. Oh, the edit you had in red, I must have, I got it stuck in my stack of piles over there.
Oh,
Anyways,
it's a revision of 31924.
319. Okay. Old business. A notice of intent was filed by Kenneth and Giselle Camara, property located at 12 Arches Way. The applicant proposes to construct a new garage with covered patio, access driveway, and related site work within the 100-foot buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. The applicant is represented by Rick Sharon of Sharon Associates Incorporated Engineers. Plan name is Plan of Site Improvements, a new garage dated November 9th, 2023, revised 3/19/2024. This is a continued public hearing, notice of intent, Kenneth and Giselle Camara, 12 Arches Way, map 16, lot 18F, SE file number 0010590. I'll entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Sharon,
Thanks, Mr.
the
Chairman.
floor is yours.
First, I want to say I like your new venue. It's comfortable, the chairs are comfortable. Very nice. I printed up some of these plans. I think we sent that in as PDF. I'm not sure if the print copies got to you or not, but I noticed when I was sitting down in here that you'll see a lot of little extra numbers in here by the edges of the new building, and that's the data layer for the point layout to set the stakes. We have to set the stakes for you for Saturday's site visit.
Yep.
And I didn't turn that layer off when I printed these, so you got a little bit of extra data in there that you don't need to have. So you see northing and easting numbers, that's what the surveyors use specifically. So the last time we met, which is I think fully 2 months ago, there was a question about the wetlands line, so we had that delineated again. We had used the original line from when the subdivision was used years ago. We had it redone. Very, very little change in it, right? But we do have the cards, the upland and wetland field cards for 2 locations, all right? We had this done by Sebastian, and he took one down by Flag 8, which was the closest to the proposed building at the time. And we have to do another about the middle of the line over at 14. So that confirms his location on the flags as you saw them out there on Saturday. Since we met, however, the big change in the project is just eliminating all that driveway we had. If you recall, the original proposal was to put a new combination garage and play area, recreation area down here at the bottom of the property, which required us, because of the change in grade, there's about 6 foot change in grade in here on this particular retaining wall, and that required a long driveway coming down through here. So that's all been taken out. He rethought this thing, and he's gone to a 32 foot wide garage, a 2.5 car wide garage, right at the end of the existing driveway and 12 feet off the existing house. Right? So there'd be a 12 foot space between the house and the new garage. And it only requires, he's going to take some of the retaining wall out and relay that, so we're into the end of that garage, and it adds about 200 feet of actual asphalt compared to what we had before, which was
Right.
a couple thousand square feet. So sometimes it's good that these things don't happen the first night, because people get a chance to think things over a little bit. So he's also come up with a plan with it, because he's going down the grade, you see the stairs coming down, there's about that 5.5 foot difference between the front yard and the backyard. The lower level has that extension at the back of the garage, which is a kid's playroom. So that's the grandchildren's playroom that he wanted to build into the other place. So you got that, and then they also had an area that you probably noticed, it was all sandy back in the backyard, where they had an above-ground pool before. That's been taken out. They want to put a gazebo in that location. So I think you might have seen the center stake for the gazebo there, and now you know the northing and easting numbers for it. So that's the proposal. So it's changed for the better, I think. A lot less disturbance, a lot less worry about stormwater management, a very minimal increase in the size of the driveway, and he ends up with something that he's looking
Pretty much the same finish line, except, modified, right?
Yeah, a little easier route.
I think it's
A lot less
great.
disturbance.
I appreciate, it all staked out. That's great. It gives, a visual to the commission. And the flag line was clearly visible,
I looked it over well at the moment, so I didn't see any, I'm very pleased with the whole layout, I
Yeah.
would say. I thought it was great. Really.
Anybody from the public comment? Yeah, I don't have any issues with the project. I guess, maybe just a condition of just not storing equipment, in the buffer zone, or
I think that's in the standard one.
that's standard. All right, well, I'll entertain a motion to issue a positive order of conditions for 12 Arches Lake.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous.
Excellent. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you very
Very
much.
good. Thanks, Rick.
We're going to close the public hearing. Entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We have a continued public hearing, RDA, Paul Boucher, 7 Morton Lane, map 14, lots 15H and 17. A request for determination was filed.
No.
by Paul Boucher for property located at 7 Morton Lane, map 14, lots 15, 18, 17. The applicant proposes to construct an 8-foot by 12-foot shed within the 100-foot buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. Plan name is topographic as-built plan dated March 25th, 2023. Review of matters presented, votes may be taken. This is going to be continued to the April 10th Concom meeting. Is there a motion to continue to the April 10th meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. New business. Certificate of compliance, Ray White, 211 Middle Road, SE file number 0010569. A certificate of compliance was filed by Ray White for property located at 211 Middle Road, map 23, lots 29, 29A, and 29B. The applicant constructed a 3,200 square foot commercial building with associated parking, lot grading, drainage, utilities, and landscape within the 100-foot buffer zone of a bordering vegetated wetland, as built provided by Zenith Consulting Engineers, LLC, dated February 21st, 2024. Mr. White, how you doing?
Good.
Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks great. It's a huge upgrade, great facility. I don't have any issues.
Not much, I don't know, but everything was in accordance.
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong.
No.
Yeah,
So,
That being said,
somebody want to make a motion
I'll make the motion.
Second.
to issue the certificate of compliance?
right.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's unanimous. Mr. White, you're all set.
All right.
I'll reach out to the building inspector for you to let you know that that's been issued, and they'll get you back.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good luck with that.
All right, thank you, guys. All right. COC, Carlos and Belafonte, 27 Peach Blossom Road, SE file number 0010166. A certificate of compliance was filed by Carlos and Belafonte for property located at 27 Peach Blossom Road, map 19, lot 226. This is a partial release under the DEP SE file number 0010166 for a sale. The applicant constructed a dwelling and garage, Board of Health as-built, dated February 6, 2002. This is pretty standard for our commission to get these, in need of a sale. It's been well established, everything's, complete. There's,
formality.
yeah, it's just a formality. I guess I'll take this opportunity to just remind people that if you are permitted with us and you need a COC to, when your project's done and the site is stabilized, to come to us and get this so that it's not a rush, because this may have, delayed a sale or whatever, and, all these filings come up on, title searches, so just try to remember to come to us for a COC when your project's done. I guess that's kind of one of them public service announcements. I can't express it enough, So with that, I'll entertain a motion to issue a COC to Carlos and Belafonte at 27 Peach Blossom Road.
Map 19, lot
Map.
26.
Map 19, lot 226.
I'll make the motion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. That's all set. And we have an announcement. An ANRAD for Ray White, 211 Middle Road, SC file number 0010591. An abbreviated notice of resource area delineation was filed by Ray White for property located at 211 Middle Road, map 23, block 29, 29A, and lot 29B. The applicant is represented by Weston Sampson Engineers Incorporated. Plan name is Existing Conditions Plan dated November 2023. Engineer has to re-notify abutters regarding the correction in the newspaper ad publication. So this is just a public service announcement as well. The abutter notifications that were sent out, there was a minor error in them. We no longer use the paper that it was advertised in, so The actual public hearing will be held on April 10th, 2024. That's our next scheduled meeting. So that was for the people that didn't reach out to Concom to wonder what the project was. So I think it's good that it was on there. Is anybody here for that? So that's good. Okay, Stormwater, nothing. Discussion, Navicide, 550 Main Street, site update, review and matters presented, votes may be taken. Mr. Campbell. The floor is yours.
That's for you.
No, very thank you.
No.
Thank you.
Again, Steve Campbell, Chief Operations Officer in Evanston. Thanks for the time tonight. After an email from Joanne today, Ryan, I got, that's a check for $5,000 for JF Mountain, so that is now all set up. We're also working with Planning Board to work on decommissioning bonds, and Bill is going to do that as well, set up the estimates for that. I'm waiting for Paul Sullivan to give me an update on that, and we'll get a check there. So we had almost 4 inches of rain on Saturday night into Sunday. As far as I know, we held. We went out there Sunday morning. We continue to operate like we're doing it with the pump over the northern basin into Mr. Walsh, towards Mr. Walsh, through the approved methodology. We did that to the west, and then we maintained on site. We currently have 8 frac tanks that are sitting on site, 6 of which are empty. And as of today, in preparation for tomorrow's storm, all of the basins are empty. So we've kind of worked through, and we've gotten into a rhythm here about, I think what we discovered over the last couple of weeks is we were waiting for the water to get into the basins and before we started pumping. On Saturday night, what we were doing was pumping as it came up to a level where we could start the pumps, and we're able to stay kind of ahead of it and just dissipate out. And then I have some pictures I could share if you're interested about what happened and what the site looked like on Sunday morning, which was fairly benign, even though we had about 4 inches of rain. I didn't see any emails from Mr. Hinckley or anybody else on Sunday, so I knew I was coming today, but I was going to talk to you. What I just gave you is an aerial image, and so what we are doing right now is Meridian Associates did a LiDAR flight of that area. So we did that entire area off-site to the north, south, east, and west, including the Medeiros property, including all the way past Seth's Way, almost down to the West Gates entrance, into the wetlands to the south, and then south of us off property, so we try to get a handle of what's actually happening. That was a high-resolution LiDAR. That data was done on Friday, which has now come back. They're processing it. I should have topo back tomorrow, and that's going to be the level set, so we can kind of understand what's coming off site, what's coming on site, where things are going, and have a more robust discussion. I think over the last couple of weeks, what we have figured out is the way we have it currently, there's not a lot going north, like we talked about on the sidewalk. We have that swale. We've blocked a lot of that going off towards the north. That seems to be operating now. We're still going to probably propose a tweak to that outlet control structure, and especially on the downstream side with the level spreader or something like that to spread the water out once it gets discharged. Maybe go to 2-3 base outlets in that area so that we can kind of not have a single pipe just pointing there. On the western basin, I think it's getting pretty high. However, it's still holding, and we're going to rework that like we talked about in the field, rather than anything that the perception or anything that looks like it's going towards Scott's Way. We're not going to do that. We're going to discharge it more to the southwest towards the driveway, and we think from the topo we'll be able to figure that out. And then what we're going to be looking at is probably a larger basin on the south side where the basin is, capture that, and then go to the south into the wetland, discharge well outside the resource area, and protect it through a series of riprap channels and energy dissipators to slow it down before it goes out there. So I needed the LiDAR, really, really quality LiDAR to know what's going on. That's now done. It was a little bit, we had to wait for some weather. We got that last Friday. And so now we're in the process of compiling all that, and then I'll come back and give you an update. Secondarily, we have scheduled, we are going to aerate and overseed the entire array in the beginning of April, inside the fence, and try to get some grass growing there again. We think we're going to aerate it because everything's been kind of compacted with all the stuff going out there. We're going to reseed with a better mix, try to get some growth in there at the same time, which we think is going to help all of this while we're trying to work on the southern and northern sections. And then what we want to do is be able to do that so that we can do the south and get some grass growing there now. And then obviously we'll wait, and we'll probably have to go back and touch up in the fall, but at least we'll get something that we can all feel comfortable is going to be workable. So that's the plan. I'm hoping to get the design into you within the next 2 weeks. So it might not be on the 10th, but I want to try to have that discussion with Bill, have Bill look at it. If we can reach out to Bill and love that, so we can start that process and get the two engineers talking. Because we do want to get this done so we're not doing this amendment and constructing in the middle of summer, and then we're going to end up not getting any stabilization of grass, which I don't think we want.
Right, that makes sense.
So we're trying as hard as we can, but that LiDAR is going to be key because we're trying to look at where everything's going so that when we come before you, Bill, and us can say, yep, this is where we think it's all going, and do a little bit better explaining than we did the first time. So,
Understood.
any questions?
No, I appreciate you, going straight at this to make it right,
Yeah,
I really do.
yeah.
I went by this Saturday. I thought it looked good. It looked like you had quite a bit of controls in place already.
Yeah.
So
We did.
I'm sure,
And the one thing
you were more than prepared, I'd say.
we were,
Because
and we were out there
I could
again.
see the controls were ready everywhere.
Overnight,
on the
we
site.
were out there, we had guys out
And
there.
I could see, like you said, how you're moving it up to the southwest and so forth.
Yeah.
That seems like
And now we're just trying to figure out how to do that so it doesn't get down and have to pump it up. We're going to try to capture it up the top.
Right.
Right. So I think that's the game plan. I appreciate you said one thing that we wanted to get done was all that hay went down and it was stabilized on that main entrance. So when you guys walked there, we kind of mucked that up a little bit. That's all rehydro-hayed and it went into that storm pretty well.
did it, yeah.
And so the
Yeah, I
pictures,
thought it was pretty adequate.
the pictures we got on Sunday were actually fairly clean water. So I think we did what we wanted to do. So.
Good.
Yeah. And then Brian, one other thing I wanted to bring up, because you and I have talked, Andy Babola asked me this too, it's like, I know you're dealing with the stormwater, but we had committed to actually, when we turn this on, to kind of, not to kind of let, but to deal with kind of the Eversource poles along Main Street, which have nothing to do with us, but I think everybody in town needs to know that we're doing some stuff in the background. My consultant, like I told you guys at that meeting, she's reached out, we're starting with Verizon because we think that's going to be a good spot. Try to find out where they are in the process, because Andy reached out, he's like, it seems like there's more poles going in than removal. So I was dealing with this, but I think I was at a point where I could start that process, so I think everybody in town needs to know that I'm doing what I said I was gonna do, and we're paying for that consultant in the back, there's no exposure to the town, to try to at least find out what's going on, because I think everybody knows, but Eversource does it when systems like ours or others in town cause an upgrade like that. But then there's a breakdown sometimes. It's Eversource's equipment, but it's Verizon's poles. Who owns the poles?
Yeah.
Then there's the cable company. And there's a process internally on all those guys that if a checkbox doesn't get checked off, the other company doesn't know it's done and they won't force it. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to at least get an update for you guys, get you guys talking to the right people, which we've committed to, and we're going to do that. We did that, we said we would do that both for Main Street and Hathaway Road. I'm focused on the Main Street just because that's the part that I'm closest to, but we will get to the bottom of that. So I think everybody in town needs to know that we're kind of going above and beyond there too as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I know it's been an issue, it's been brought up at selecting meetings, and they were thinking about making a policy that you can't put a pole in unless
Yeah.
you remove one,
Yeah.
But again, it goes back to the same issue that you just said, if Verizon's not done with the pole, or Comcast isn't done with the pole, then.
Yeah, and I drive down there all the time now and I look, and the new poles are in, but all the equipment's still in the old pole, which means it hasn't crossed over in between companies yet. So we have good contacts in all of them, so we'll try to find out what's going on and at least kind of let people know, here's who you should be talking to. It might be Verizon, it might be Eversource, but yeah, we've committed to that, we are pushing.
Excellent.
Okay. Any other updates, any questions? I am away the 10th, so I don't know if.
I think we have a full agenda on the 10th.
It's a big one.
Yeah, so,
I'm making a pretty big assumption that because of the 4 inches, and we're not, hopefully we don't get another 4 inches, that we're probably gonna be okay between now and, I think we got a pretty good management system going on the existing storms. Please let me know if you don't. We'll jump on anything. And then I think if I can get it in, when we get it in, maybe I can be back on the agenda at like the 17th as an amendment. I think that might be a good target. We'll get this all wrapped up, if that makes sense, Joanne. 21, sorry, 21, 24, okay.
yeah, because, yeah.
And that'll give Bill time to review it, and I'd like to come in and present. We'll see.
Bill Madden's gonna be a busy man. Yeah.
I'm gonna share the love with him.
But,
All right, yeah, that sounds good.
okay.
We'll be in touch. I mean, we have each other's numbers and
I have
emails.
everybody knows where to find me, and so,
I like not having to call you, but I do appreciate the updates, so.
yeah. No, I think, look, we know where we are.
Yeah.
I said last January, we were gonna fix this, and
I appreciate your commitment. I really do.
Yeah.
and I just need, if anybody does comment, just send it to us and we'll deal with it. I'll reach out. I think with Mr. Walsh, he gave my phone number, I said call. I haven't heard from him, but I'm here. He has my contact.
Understood.
All right.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right. Region updates there are other business, any other business. Do you have any?
No, I'm just wondering, is there any updates on the Park Drive solar farm? Where is it right now?
It's in litigation.
Okay.
Yeah, there are no,
So once it proceeds, we'll be notified, or we'll just look at meeting agendas
Yeah, it should be
and...
on the agenda.
yeah.
What's that?
It'll,
Because that's the access situation.
But is it with this board, or is it with planning board, or?
I think it's just with us, right? They have their special
You're
permit.
gonna have to review whatever comes of that, I would think.
Right. I think we might be having an executive session on an update for the commission from town council next meeting, but that wouldn't be open to the public.
So I just keep checking the bi-weekly agendas, or just if there's anything on there. I try to come to the solar meetings, I like to see what's
Yeah.
going on with the other sites.
We're gonna be busy.
Yeah.
We got a lot of meetings to go to. We got
Well,
a
I
lot
have
coming.
been trying, I'm trying to stay up because I'm afraid that we're gonna miss something.
Yeah, we're gonna have,
Already, there's been so much flooding on our street from the neighbors that are abutting the solar farm, front of Park Drive. I mean, they're pumping out their basements now, and there's nothing back there. So,
yeah.
that's
so
all, I just wanna make sure I don't miss anything.
In general, we have some solar stuff coming up. Well, really, it's just the delineations for potential solar fields, but as of right now, there's no updates on.
Okay. How about the NEPA stuff?
I didn't follow any of that, I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't follow any of it. I think there's like a portal maybe? that-
There is.
Okay, yeah,
It's
see, I
just
didn't,
so difficult to maneuver through that portal.
yeah, I didn't follow anything with that process.
Okay.
But yeah,
Trudging
that's,
along.
That's why I need an agent to research all this stuff.
All right. Well, good job. Hopefully we get an agent sometime soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Get some money on payroll, so people can get paid good money.
All right, other business.
Thank you.
I'll just update you guys. I attended a SERPED meeting with the chairman of the planning board and the town administrator and Grant King from SERPED. And every 10 years, they take a map of the town and they just designate priority areas for development and priority areas for conservation or open space or protection, for that matter. And what that does is, if there's funding available and there's conservation, or, yeah, I would say a conservation or some sort of development, grants could be given to the town for, if those areas are in designation. So that, they update it every 10 years. This was the 10-year update. So we sat down with Grant, and it was a good meeting. So there's going to be updated, he's working on updating all that stuff. I made a couple comments, just, you know, to put like, changes that have been made with land purchases in town from Buzzards Bay Coalition, Favorite Acushnet Land Trust, whatever it may be. So the map from, you can go on the website, the one from 2013 is there, but it's going to be a little more green. Green is the area that it pertains to us. And yeah, it was a pretty informative meeting, and I had requested that he makes a map of areas that are in Chapter 61, so that for grant reasons, we could, if a desirable property comes before the town with the right of first refusal,
Right.
we have, and we don't have the money in CPC, we would have an avenue to go to
Yeah,
say,
an
hey,
option to
we need some,
Try to.
this is desirable to us,
Yeah.
look, it's in that green area, you know, we have the option to purchase it, where could we get funding for that? Yeah, so he said he'd work on that. That was one thing that I brought up to him, and I told him jokingly, I said, paint the whole thing green, is what I said. But no, there wasn't much changes on the development end. We do have some areas in town that are able to be developed, so. Yeah, I just wanted to update you guys on that. I did sit in on that. It was pretty good. Anybody else? All right, future business.
I did go out driving around, looking at wet places that
Yeah,
we've been alerted to,
yeah,
and went by 1050. 1050 had a very small puddle at the end of the driveway.
yeah.
Across the street, the tree farm, there's a whole tract of arborvitaes that are drowning.
I seen that, yeah, up a little
Yeah.
bit further, yeah.
But, and the ponds are pretty high.
Yeah, ponds are really high,
Ponds are pretty high.
yeah.
Other than that, I didn't see any other than normal water you see on top of the ground this time of year.
Right. Yeah,
Nothing raging down the sides of the streets or anything.
which is good. What was I gonna say? In selectmen meeting yesterday, Conoco they constructed a bylaw, well, there wasn't much changes to the one that we had all agreed on.
Oh, yeah.
But the bylaw, I think I have it. It's gonna go in front of planning board, so, you know, some of us can attend, preferably not a quorum, you know, but, I'll get it out to the commission so that when, planning's gonna have a public hearing on it. Ultimately, you know, they decide, we can chime in on it. We can have our own, we can add it to our agenda, we can go through it, pick out what we do and don't like, you know. Ultimately, I think it's going to establish us as the authority, but because it's been delegated to us from planning as us being the authority, it has to be approved by planning, I guess, and then it goes to the selectmen. But the selectmen will listen to our takes on it as well.
Okay. Yeah.
So I understand that that's the process. And also, they did, Conoco did the town's MS4, all kinds of reporting, and there's gonna be an updated map of all the outfalls and everything. They kind of gave us, showed in the meeting, I didn't attend, but I did watch it, and there's that information too, and they're gonna be doing some testing at these outfalls and testing along the Acushnet River in the future, so that they can't blame, you know, the nitrogen in the water on Acushnet.
Or, yeah,
Just kind of being preemptive with that, you know.
nice.
Which is,
Informative.
which, yeah, it was a good meeting.
Sounds good.
Kevin McHugh did a great job. I thought he did a great job. Yeah, so there's that as well. Future business. Next Conservation Commission meeting will be on April 10th, 2024. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.